Hey everyone, welcome to Centralia Fahrenheit's instructional video on how to build a rattle. My name is Eric. I am Mountain Maidu from High Sierra, California. So here at Centralia Fahrenheit, we offer a variety of rattle kits for you guys. We offer a round rattle kit, which is a smaller version, good for children. It comes with a dowel or an option of an alder stick. And then we also have large rattle kits, which is what we'll be building today. The same process applies for all the rattles, but the large rattle kits we offer in species: elk, bear, buffalo, moose, horse. So it gives you a couple different options. So when you receive your kit, it's going to look something like this, and it's going to have everything you need in it. It's going to have a 6-foot piece of sinew, which should be plenty for you to sew it up. That's going to have your stick. It's going to have instructions with a needle taped on it, ready for it to go. So for video purposes, we're going to put this off to the side, and we already have our stuff laid out here. So we went ahead and we soaked the rattle pieces last night, which that's something you're going to have to do prior to doing this. So overnight, when you get your kit, if you're going to make the kit the next day, overnight is recommended. But we already got these soaked. So you're going to have a smooth side and the rough side, and the rough side is going to be what you want to put on your inside of your rattle. It'll just look nicer and everything. So we're going to take our sinew. Let me get a piece out here for everybody. Let's cut it. Pretty much all you're going to need is some scissors for this part and your needle. You're also going to need some stuff to stuff it with. You can use many things: corn kernels. These are popcorn kernels. These are also mixed with some airsoft, pebbles, anything to stuff it with to give it shape, to let it form for overnight when we let it dry. And then some rattle pieces, which you can also again use pebbles or popcorn kernels. But we here at Centralia Fahrenheit try to keep it a little more traditional. Use teeth and bone pieces and stuff that we have inside the rattle. You also maybe need some stuffers. These are some examples here. This is like a fiberglass stick that we just have used for years, so it's kind of wound down, or just a regular stick to stuff through the funnel. And then a funnel. This definitely helps your process. It helps everything get into the hole a lot easier of your rattle, or you're gonna have a heck of a time. All right, so let's thread our needle. This is always the fun process. All right. I like to give it a little spin once I thread it, like this. This helps it, keeps it locked in there and from sliding out, pulling out of your needle all the time. All right, so let's grab our pieces. Make sure you have the two with the cut marks or it feels fleshy, or those would be your inside pieces. So we'll put them together. And I'm going to start with the top right holes. And again, these are made off of a die, and so all the holes should line up. And if they don't, then at the end, then it's something that you did. All right, so we're going to thread it through the first hole. We're going to pull all of our sinew out until we have a tail that's about, 6-8 inches long. This is going to be the part that we're going to tie around the stick at the end, so you don't want to short yourself this, or you won't be able to tie it. All right, so for this, and you can tie right here, we just want to lock this part in. You can use just a knot, square knot, or something like that, but for what I do is I just like to go through the hole again. Same exact hole, same the way we did the first time. And I'll give her one wrap around my needle. And go ahead and pull it through. Then it should have a little loop at the end. When you come down tight, just keep it off the side. Don't keep it up at the top. Keep it off the side. Pull it snug, not too tight. And that'll be just your locking for your sinew, so it won't slide out in and out and everything. It's going to stay right there for you. So we're just going to go pull our sinew up and over. And we're going to go to the next hole, down, straight through. Pull our sinew tight. So your first stitching should look like that. Should be kind of like a downward angle. Just go to the next hole. Just pull it straight through. And it should look like that. There's no really wrong way to do this. This is just a certain stitch. I'm not sure the name of it. I think this is a running stitch. You can do numerous different. You can do a baseball stitch, cross stitch. This is just how we're going to show you here today. Tools getting in the way. So we're just going to keep going just down the next hole. Should start looking something like that. I like to keep my hand behind the next hole I'm going to. It just helps everything stabilize a little bit better and keeps everything from getting messed up. Your sinew all knotted up, and just keep following this around. All right, so going up the final stretch, this is what we got right here. Should look something like that. Doesn't have to look exactly like that. All right, I'm just going to work it up all the way up to the top. Last couple of holes here. And again, this should all line up. It should be the exact amount of holes on each side. Get to the top. I like to go through the same hole again one more time. Wrap the needle around, pull it through. Again, the loop on the side, not on the top. Give it a good snug. And it's not going anywhere. So we'll cut this. All right, I'm gonna get me another piece of sinew here real quick. So again, this is just how I do it. You have a 6-foot piece of sinew in your kit, and you don't have to cut these and make 2 separate pieces. You can do it, definitely do it continuous. This is just the way that I do it and the way I'm showing for the video. So it's not important to cut it in half and do it separate laces. But when I'm going to start this next one, so where we ended, I'm going to go through the opposite side, exactly where we just ended from. Leave my running end again about 6 to 8 inches. I'll go through that same hole again. Give a little loop around my needle. It's going to give you that locking loop. So this sinew ain't going nowhere. Just like that. And then we'll just do the same process again. We're just going to go down the next hole from the opposite side. So you're going to be pulling the string toward you. So you're going to go from the outside away from you, needle towards you, and it's going to give you kind of an X pattern. So something like that. So just keep going around to the next hole, away from you, towards you. Basically, we're just doing the opposite of what we just did around the first side. Okay, so we're going to come up to that last hole. We're going to do the same thing that we did the last 2 times. We're going to go through it the first time. Go back through the hole again in the same direction. Get yourself wrap around the needle. Pull it through. A little loop on the edge, not over the top. Snug it down tight. We'll cut to about 6 to 8 inches. And this is step 1. That's what it should look like, something like this, or however you stitch it. And then this is step 1, and then we'll stuff her next. All right, step 2 to building our rawhide rattle. So this is the stuffing part. So again, this is where this is going to come into play. These would be like we use airsoft pellets here at Centralia Fern Hide. So there's some popcorn kernels mixed in here. You can use pebbles that you find in your yard, just anything to stuff it, because what you want to do is give it your shape and your form. So that's what we're using this stuff for. Again, a funnel, and you're going to see here in a second what I'm using this for. It's always handy to have. Some kind of apparatus to stuff your rattles with, get all these pebbles and stuff in your rattle, and then some rattle pieces, something to give it your sound when it dries. Here at Centralia Fern Hide, again, we like to keep a little more tradition and use some kind of teeth or bone or something that we have like that. All right, so we're going to take our stitched up rattle, and we're going to open it up right up here at the top. We're going to get that funnel, we're going to shove it in that hole. Get up in there nice and snug. And take whatever we use to stuff it with. And I'm just going to dump it in here. Usually it's about a full funnel's worth to start off with. Try not to make a mess. We'll take our stick. We'll start stuffing. It's easy if you're using a funnel to go down from the side instead of trying to stuff it straight down the middle. Takes a few seconds. This is just the easiest way that we found here to do it. So however you want to go about this part, no wrong way. All right, so I'm trying to stuff it in there, and you can see how I'm still got squish. So what we're trying to do is get all that squish out of there. We're trying to fill up the tire inside of it with what we have to stuff it with. Give it a solid shape. These are natural animal rawhide products, so they're not all going to be look exactly the same. None of them are really exactly round. Some of them are going to look oblong and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Adds character. So we're almost there. Giving it a good squish, and I can still feel a little softness to it. So a couple more stuffing pellets here. So you can kind of feel it going in your hand, whatever hand you're holding your rattle with when you're stuffing it. You can kind of feel it going in there, and you feeling it getting hard in your hand, and that's what you're looking for. And then it's starting to get harder to stuff too. So I think I'm pretty good right there. I don't feel any give anywhere around. And that's kind of just what we're looking for, just so we give it a hollow cavity to put our rattle pieces in, give it some sound. So I'll dump the rest of it out. Pull my stick out. Pull my funnel out. We don't need those anymore. Get your stick that comes with your kit. Put it in the hole. This can be it starts getting dry now. It could be a little rough sometimes. I like to use my body a lot of times and just kind of get rid of stuff in there. Something like that. Doesn't have to go all the way in. There's no certain depth or anything. You just want it to be solid on the stick so it's not floppy when it dries and rattles. This one feels pretty good. So I like to use my body a lot when I'm doing these kind of kits and building these kind of things. So I'll use my body and I'll use the table. It frees up your hands. So I like to put it right here in my chest so I can do a lot of tying and stuff. So right now we're going to tie these up. You give it a good little pull tight before you tie them. You can kind of see this tightening up a little bit. When it dries, that has a chance of expanding if you don't get it tight, and that's how your rattle pieces will fall out. So we'll give it just a good square knot. I like to use edge a table like this again, just because it frees up my hands. All right, we don't need to worry about cutting these or anything because we're not done with this yet. So the last step to this is we're going to anchor it to our stick. So take the leftover little sinew that you have from stitching it up. I'll hold it facing up and get my other strings out of the way. Give myself a little tail to grab into my hand. I'm just going to wrap it. Pretty much like that. We're going to kind of pull it tight. We want to make a dent in the rawhide. So when we take this off for the next step, it has something for the sinew to lay in and it'll hold it tight against the stick. So I'm going to use the edge of the table again, and I'm going to tie this knot so this sinew stays on here. This is our anchor to the stick, so we want it tight. When it dries, it's going to dry tight like this, molded to the stick. All right, and then that is step 2 finished. Your stuffing process. Now all we got to do is let this dry, and then we can finish the rest of it tomorrow. All right, so step 3, guys. This is the next day after, and this is going to be finishing your rattle. So at Centralia Fur and Hide, we just kind of hang our rattles overnight, and then when we get back to work the next day, we can finish them out. They should just be dry. You don't have to really put air on them or anything, or definitely not in direct heat. Just let them dry naturally. So it should be like this the next day. Right here, we're going to take off this string, the one that we had our anchor string on. And basically, if you have anything sharp and awl or anything, is what I use. I just poke it in that knot, and being that this sinew that we use is waxy, you can kind of just pull that string right out, that knot right out. You want to save this piece because we're going to use that to wrap it around the stick again. So for video purposes, I already dumped this out. So basically, you're going to do what I just did right there. You're going to take this head off like I just did, and you're going to empty out all of our, whatever you use to stuff it with. It takes a couple minutes to do, so that's why I just went ahead and emptied it out. So next process, once we get it emptied out, I kind of just like to take my little stick, make sure there's nothing in there, dump the rest of it out. And then we're going to grab whatever we're using for rattle, which in this case, we got some deer horn buttons that we don't use so much. There's no set amount, so to speak, in here. I just kind of play it by ear. Each and every rattle that you make has a different sound. So I'll just put my finger in the hole and give it a good shake. Maybe a couple more. Yep, sounds great to me. All right. So take our stick right back in the hole, and again, there's no set length or anything like that. However long you want your handle. So we're going to take that anchor piece that we just took off, the last piece that we just took off sinew that you kept. We're going to go around the stick and rattle again. Remember yet when I was talking about making that indent? This is what we were looking for, because this is what we're going to anchor the stick to the rattle piece with. So I'm just going to give the same wraps that I did before. And on this one, I'm going to give it an extra hitch on my knot, because this is the finished product. So hopefully we don't want that knot coming undone anymore. Take my scissors and I'm going to cut it with enough tail, little pigtail on it, so we can melt. And I'll show you how to do that at the end, so we can melt those down and so we can glue our knots, so to speak. So we're going to finish these ones again. Just retie these. I untied them when I took them off the stick, because sometimes when they come loose, like I was talking about when we were building this, you can get it to cinch back up again if you just retie these. So I'll give this one the third hitch again also, and cut it about the same length. You don't need to leave too much, you don't want too little. And I'll show you what we're going to do with those at the end. Just pulling that tight again. Cut it about the same. And we should have that. And then if you have a lighter handy dandy, you just want to kind of melt these down. Again, they're kind of waxy and stuff, so let's melt right down. Give it a good little squish. And this hopefully glues and tacks our knots in, so we won't have any problem with the sinew coming undone and your rattle falling apart. Should be something kind of like that. And there you have a rattle built. Sounds great. Thank you everybody for watching. Again, you can purchase kits such as this and numerous other ones that we offer here at Centralia Fur and Hide on our website, furandhide.com. We offer kits such as End of the Trail kits, rattle kits, drumstick kits, moccasin kits, drum kits, numerous other kits. Again, thank you very much for watching. Good luck everybody.